Yep. Yeah, that's like my nose. If you can see it, it's off center. I had a match before the COVID, and I have this move called Around the World where I head smash my opponent's head into the turnbuckles. And the last turnbuckle, she put her leg up and went bang and straight in my nose, the left side with her elbow, broke it, and I had no idea. And the ref's like, time out, because, you know, you're supposed to, like, put the arms up where injury. And I'm like, what for? Because I had that much adrenaline going through my body. He's like, your nose is bleeding. I went like this. I checked my teeth. I wiped it on myself, and I said, keep going. So I did the whole match.
Oh, that's funny, mate. But, yeah, and Nikki, how long did you spend in Canada, and how did you get, 2 questions, how long did you spend there? And how did you organise to get over there from Australia?
I was there on a 13-day tour with the Let's Get Rowdy tour for Roddy Piper. And the way that I got over there originally was I flew to LAX. Then, oh, my God, I have a funny story about that, actually. So I fly into LAX and I had a 12-hour layover. And I'm like, man, what am I going to do? I had in my head, I want to go to Santa Monica. I had no idea how I was going to go to Santa Monica, but this lady says to me, jump on the bus and go down, you know, like you can go down to Santa Monica on the bus. I'm like, all right, no worries. Jump on this bus. And then this boy jumps on, and I took one look at him, and he looked like a mini Rock. And I'm like, man, I'm sorry, but you look like The Rock. And then we got talking, and then he took me everywhere. Like, he goes, oh, where are you going? I'm like, I want to go to Santa Monica. He's like, blah, 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 you know, like, come in my car. I'm like, stupid. He's like, yeah, no worries. So go in his car. He took me everywhere, and I had the best day. Then he drops me back off at the airport. I get on the plane. Then I go to JFK Airport. And then I got bomb searched. They stripped me down in this room because they thought I had drugs and everything on me. They opened they opened up my suitcase and they said, are you wrestling here? I go, no. And they go, what is that stuff? I go, oh, they're my clothes. I just wear those. And they're like, they're like, you better not be wrestling here. I'm like, I'm not wrestling here. I just wear them. I was really lucky because my boots are, they look like Converse. So they're like long. I get them custom made. And my wrestling gear, they pull up my pants. They go, so you just wear these out, do you? And I go, yeah. It was my old gear, which had I had long pants on one side of the leg and short cut off on the other side. So it's kind of like a RVD, like old school, you know, like his attire. He's one leg and long legs, like pants. So anyway, they let me through after interrogating me and strip searching me. And then I ended up going into Newfoundland, and I couldn't get hold of the promoter. I was stuck there for 2 hours and no one was answering the call. I'm like, man, I've just flown all this way on all these planes, and I'm not going to be able to go on the show. But then they ended up contacting me. I had to ask some stranger for their phone because my phone died. It was quite interesting.
That's hilarious. And the thing is too, obviously you're lucky they didn't pull you out on that, because if they knew you were working here, they would have sent you home.
Yep. Yeah, that's
a question. I just have a question. When your phone died, did you need to call a funeral service?
I would have had to if the person didn't let me use the phone. I wouldn't know what I've done.
Yeah. But that's the exciting part about doing all this sort of stuff, you know, traveling, all the indie tours and all that. It's just fun. Now, Nikki, but how did you, because we had a guy on the other night, a young guy's been wrestling for a little while, and he wants to come to the States. How did you make a connection with Roddy Piper, who I think is great? I loved his stuff. How did you connect up with them to get you? Because it's pretty hard to just come from Australia being an unknown, even though you've been wrestling for a while, to get to work with a crew like that.
I was really fortunate, especially all of the tours that I've had, because I've been to America 4 times to wrestle as well. But I I guess it was like through word of mouth. I guess because when I came into this business, Andy Harper said to me, no matter how long, I'll never forget these words, because when I first started, he said, no matter how long you're in this industry for, there's going to be people that are better than you, and you have to have respect. This business is respect for your opponent, respect for yourself. If you make your opponent look like crap, you're going to look worse. So I always had that mentality in my head. And I guess like the way that I present myself, you go in that locker room, you shake people's hands, you show them, like what sportsmanship is, like I treat, as soon as I walk into a locker room, I treat it as my family, as like my little babies. So I guess like through like my professionalism, word got out, and then I was wrestling heats as well. So I was getting myself out there on professional level, wrestling in Melbourne, wrestling in South Australia, wrestling over New South Wales, wrestling in Queensland. So I guess like, my name got out there. But when I first got in this industry, I wanted like I always said to my mum, the only thing I want in my life is to leave a good legacy behind. And I guess like with wrestling has given me so much opportunity, and it's taught me so much in the same sense, like as a person.
And that's really true. Like, I can't thank myself for taking up judo, and after 18 years of judo, first dan, I loved it, but I wanted to change, and I just happened to read an ad in the local paper in Adelaide. They wanted pro wrestlers, and I thought, wow, okay, this is cool. I might, because I loved it. Like you mentioned Mario Milano before. Well, I was lucky, and I used to watch him as a kid on TV. And as I said in the other interviews, I actually got to work with him 20 years later after watching him on the World Championship Wrestling on Sundays at home. And then when I took up wrestling, I started wrestling when I was about 38. And so I wrestled for quite a long time, right into my 40s. And it was great. I actually got to wrestle Mario. I got to wrestle icons like that and meet some incredible people. Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Big Boss Man, and Malenko. They all came to Australia, and it was great. And you're right, Nikki. It opens up so many doors. It got me into my acting career. And if I wasn't acting, my kids wouldn't have had that opportunity. I wouldn't have opportunity to coach and mentor people and be here in LA. So it is great stepping stones. And you've had a career in TV. You've wrestled, around America, and that's a tough thing. Not everybody can leave Australia and get on the wrestling circuit. It's not that easy,
Yeah. I've been really fortunate. Like the last time I came to the States was in 2015, and stupid me, I don't know, I just had this thing in my head, and I'm that kind of person that if I have something put in my head, I'm going to do it, because you only got one life and you just got to make the most of it. And I bought myself a ticket to America, and I was going for 3 months, and I called my mum from the airport, and I'm like, Mum, I'll see you in 3 months. She's like, what? I go, I'm going to the States. And she goes, what? Anyway, I take off to the States, but stupid me didn't look at the weather over there. And and I took all summer gear. And it was in the middle of winter, and I ended up getting stuck in 15 feet of snow with all of this summer gear. But I was lucky because Gold Dust gave me all these t-shirts and like all these like merch, and I had t-shirts from all these wrestlers, which is crazy, because all these people I loved and admired when I was a kid, and like they helped me out.
So good. You know what, Nikki? Now I know why you got through customs in Canada. I can tell you why. Because they looked in your suitcase, and he would have whispered to the other guy, I think she's actually wrestling here, but anyone who can wear summer clothes in the middle of winter, we got to let her through.
I was freezing.
They would have thought, these crazy Aussies, if she's going to wear that type of clothes in our winter, she can go in. We admire her. That's what they would have been saying under their breath, mate.
Probably. They're like, oh, this stupid Aussie. Why is she wearing all these summer clothes for? Can't she see there's snow out there?
Well, Wayne Gardner, one of Australia's greatest GP motorcycle champions, right? in his documentary I went and saw in Australia a few years ago, he got to go to Scotland, and he went to Scotland in the middle of winter to join the GP team over there. And the guy telling the story was one of the GP riders from Scotland. He said, I never did like Wayne Gardner. He said, we ended up becoming great friends. He said, I couldn't help but like the guy because he said, I'm standing in 2 inches of snow on this country railway platform in Scotland in the middle of winter. And here's this guy gets off in, you know, you'll know what I mean, and Aussies will, in the footy shorts and a pair a pair of thongs. Yeah, the stubbies, and his thongs or flip-flops, right?
Yeah.
His thongs and a T-shirt and a little airline bag. And this guy went, this guy is insane. So that's probably what they thought, Nikki, that you can come in.
Yeah, because I was wearing a pair of thongs and everything. So over here, thongs are flip-flops, Dougie. So it's not a G-banger, which is a G-string. It's not that.
Yeah.
But I brought so much summer gear. I brought cozies, I brought everything. A stupid idiot.
That's funny, Nikki.
But I had the best time.
Yeah, of course you would have. Like, what a journey. Who gets the opportunity to go and jump in the ring and be a pro wrestler and entertain people and meet some really incredible people around the world? Now, just another thing, Nikki. What do you find? Is there anything you found in wrestling that was a really, really tough to deal with, you know, or was it all smooth running?
Like out of my whole career?
Yeah, just, you know, like anything you found there that you just found a little difficult to deal with, you know, like certain situations, or you just found it was all pretty easy going, you know?
Well, there was a stage there, I won't mention any names, I probably should because this person doesn't deserve any respect, but
we won't do that.
Nah, that's why I'm not going to. I'm going to keep that person's name on the lowdown, but I got bullied for years from this one individual. And then it went on a podcast, and then I said on the podcast, because I'd had enough, and I said, listen, here's my phone number. Let's catch up. Let's sort this out as adults. This person wouldn't do it. So I said, the day will come where you and I are faced in the same locker room together. What are you going to do? And they're like, this will never happen. And it was, when was it? 3 years ago, I had a show, and this same individual from years prior to that blackmailed my name in Shine and Shimmer, was in the same locker room with me. And I went up to the individual and I said, oh, hi, blah, blah, blah. Nice to meet you. I'm Nikki. Finally, do you remember when I said to you years ago that one day you and I'll be facing the same locker room? What are you going to do? And they're like this. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do? So I sat down next to this individual and I said, I want to know something. I said, why have you been bullying me for this long? You and I have never met. This is the first time we've met, like ever. And you had to go around America and say this about me and say this about me and like in Australia say this and this and this, but you're the person that won't even step foot in the ring with me. And they're like, well, because you blocked me on all social media. And I'm like, of course I blocked you on social media. Why? Because I don't want to put up with your bullshit. I don't want to see anything about you. I don't care about you. I don't care if you exist. I said, like, we are here today doing what we both love to do. And I got up, I shook their hands, and I said, you have a great match. Said, good luck, and I walked off. And I felt like with that individual, I felt so good because I was like, I was professional. I wasn't abrupt. I spoke nicely, like, you know, like I spoke civil, but I made my point across. But then this
good on you, Nikki.
Yeah, but like I think I've found like with the bullying, like the bullying and the political crap is really hard in this business.
Yeah.
And it took me it took me a long time to grow thick skin. And it was Al Snow that actually helped me a lot with it because when I was in America last, like I did a lot of work with Al Snow, and he he taught me, he taught me certain things, how to cope with this, and not to have ego, but to know, how can I say, to respect who you are and how far you've come, basically.
Yeah, that's right.